Welcome to the next Tao in a Minute. Okay, so we're on the subject of relationships. Nothing brings more peace, harmony, and happiness and passion to our life, or misery, obligation, and drudgery than actual relationships. But in the time that we teach these relationship workshops, what we're teaching is how to still live in harmony with the way and be in a relationship, because that's what's practical today. So the last homework assignment was be very clear about the type of relationship you want. Not the vagary of I want to be happy or I want to be respected, but what does it mean to be happy to you? What does it look like? What does the respect look like? And then who do you need to be in order to be happy? Who do you need to be in order to be respected the way you call respect? Many people tell me I want to be happy when I say, look at the entire part of your life and ask yourself, how can you say that with a straight face? How much time have you actually spent being happy? But most people want the idea of it because that's what we're supposed to do. Well, that's not what we're supposed to do. What we're supposed to do is to be whatever it is we are at the moment. And sometimes when a loved one dies, that's grief. Sometimes when we feel hurt or we feel upset, then it's to be melancholy. That's very natural. That's part of human life. To be happy all the time is not natural. But that when it's time to be happy, that we can actually accept and enjoy it. And most people cannot. Most relationships are completely severed and dissolved because of one simple reason. The other person cannot accept an identity, accept a life in which they can sustain happiness. So what we're going to do in this series of Tao in a Minute on relationship is help us to have a way to not only allow ourselves to be happy and to make that identity and make that pattern that can sustain it, but also allow the other person to do the same. And oftentimes, when you get two people in a relationship, as we said before, you get loggerheads because you have two egos, two identities on one path. So everything in life really depends on our skill. How much skill can you bring to anything will determine how easy it is or how difficult it is. If you have very little skill, I promise you, you will very much struggle. Like anything, kayaking, driving a car. The first time you drove a car, very little skill. But once you do it off, now you can don't text and drive. Text and, drive a 2,000-pound piece of metal with the most combustible, flammable liquid in the damn trunk. Why? Because you've gained skill. So we're going to need to gain the skills, and every skill requires a discipline. You must gain the discipline necessary. So now that you know what kind of relationship, let's work on the first skill. The first skill that is required for any relationship, and the first relationship, as we said before, is you. First one is for you to yourself. Then it will extrapolate and it will just start to expand to every other relationship you have, is you need to have a deep, deep commitment to understanding and appreciating the other person and their world. This skill sounds so common sense, but I promise you, it is not common because we are willing to be understanding as long as we are comfortable usually. But to truly understand someone's world, to truly appreciate it, and let's take the word appreciation, that means to add value. When your house appreciates, it gains in value. To see the value in something is to appreciate it. Though somebody does something entirely different than you do, doesn't mean there's nothing to appreciate in it. It may not be valuable to you, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable or legitimate or valid. It means it's appropriate to them. Now, this is extraordinarily important, that if you want to couple your life with another human in any capacity, you must allow them to be what they are. But in this case, you cannot know who and what they are if you're judging them. You cannot be in a relationship with someone you're judging. You cannot love someone that you're judging. It's impossible. You lose all influence and all rapport. If there is no rapport, there is no relationship. So, the skill of understanding and truly appreciating what a person needs, what a person is, who a person is, requires you to put your own filters, put your own stuff aside, and truly focus on that other person. Now, to get a skill, like anything, you must follow a discipline. You must have the disciplines necessary. So, if you're a Kung Fu person, the skill of Kung Fu requires the discipline of training the hours and hours of the seal creeling and the jibegongs and all these things. Well, in order for you to be in a relationship and to get this skill of truly having a deep commitment and appreciation of understanding the other person, the skill is you must come to understand what they need and what that means to them. You must come to understand that person's needs. Most people will not tell you their needs because they're deadly afraid that you'll judge them, that you'll think they're bad, you'll think they're not worth it. So your homework for this time is this. I want you to sit down. I want you to take a pen and a paper. I want you to have a conversation with whatever person in your relationship is. Maybe they won't talk to you. Maybe they're not a communicative person. I want you to then observe them. Without them knowing you're observing them, watch them and truly see what do they need in their life now. What does it mean to them? Do they need for you to listen to them? Do they need for you to accept them? Do they need for you to validate them? Whatever they need, don't judge it. We will get on to what these things and how to accomplish, tackling these things later. But for right now, you must come to understand how much connection does that person need? How much appreciation and significance does that person need? How much assurity and certainty does that person need? How much growth does this person need? What does growth mean to them? You need to not only find out what these things are, but what they mean to that person. So do this homework assignment. You have a week, and we'll get back to this next week. But this is very, very important because this is all the foundations that we're going to build the palace of the relationships you're looking for. So if you have any questions, if you want any clarification, put it in the comments section. Or if it's something private you want to do offline, email me at lau@fourdragonschool.com. If you want to share this and you want to make this an idea or an activity that you do with many people, hit like and hit share and send it to as many people as you can, because I promise you, if you do this, you'll take your relationship from here to here in no time. I'm talking less than 90 days. I don't care where your relationship is. It'll go from being here to here. Okay, I've taken up a lot of time, but this is a lot of information and we're going to be doing a lot of work here. But I promise you, nothing will make your life have a deeper, richer quality than your relationship. So we're going to spend the time because it's worth it. All right, until then, we'll see you next time on Down in a Minute.